Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Penu Community Podcast. I'm Ben, your host, and here at Penu Podcast, we are talking with people um, for sharing their insights, experience, and knowledge, and whatever related to future-oriented initiatives and the things like that. Today, I'm joined by Varsha Prasad, and she's the founder of Idea Campus. She's a creative problem solver, innovation coach, let's say, and someone who helps teams and leaders turn ideas into action. With years of experience at Cisco, I think back to India and then moving to the Netherlands and now running her own business, she brings a fresh and hands on approach to design thinking and creative workshops. If you are curious about innovation, design, or how to lead creative teams, I guess you'll love this episode as well. I'm so happy to have you here, Risha. Maybe you want to add something for introducing yourself. Maybe I missed something, and then we can see what's happening next.
Great. Thank you so much, Ben, for having me. Really, I think the first time that we spoke, I really enjoyed our conversation and what you're doing at Flux Forward at Benu Community. So I'm happy to be here and share about my work and have this conversation. So I think you did a very good job at introducing me. So I mainly focus with product leaders at tech scale ups, and that's my focus for now. And I help these leaders to create human centered or user centric products through my workshops. And yeah, that's my focus for now.
So let's start with your story. How did you get into innovation and design thinking? And maybe you want to a little bit share about what design thinking is. For those people, maybe you have no specific idea about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent almost 9.5 years at a corporate company at Cisco, to be exact, back when I was in India. And I had a director back at the time who introduced us to us what design thinking was. And to us, most corporate employees, meetings are just a 1 hour meeting in a conference room where each one of us are sitting opposite to each other. There's one person who's leading the meeting, who's usually the manager of the team. And that's how it mostly goes. But our director, he joined our team newly and he said, we're going to do a 1 day design thinking workshop. And that's when I was surprised that it was going to be for the whole day and all of our team members are not going to be working. We're all going to be in a room. So that was my first reaction when he mentioned that. And then the day of the workshop, uh, we had an entire conference room which was transformed. There were no tables or chairs in the usual U shaped thing. There were round tables, there were chairs around those tables, and there were Lego, blocks. And there were like sticky notes, there was like music playing in the background. And for me, that was a very new way of being welcomed into a meeting or a workshop. And the entire day, I didn't realize how it passed by because it was so much fun, engaging, and at the end of it, we had so many ideas to take back. I felt like every part of my brain suddenly was working. And during meetings, you usually are, on your phone, you're just dozing off, you're just like, when will I get out of the meeting? But this was a very new way of working towards problem solving. So I really loved how the structure and the framework is. So you start with who are your users, what do they want, sort of build on what uh, it lies on the foundation of empathy. That's where humans come in. And at the end of the day, no matter how sophisticated your technology is, it's eventually being used by humans. So you need to understand who the human is, who's the person who's using your products, and build your products around them. So that's the basis of design thinking and understanding who your humans are. And as a creator or product designer, you need to define what the problems they are facing, your customers, your users, and then figure out the ideas around that. So many of us, because we have really good technology or we have really good ideas, we just jump into building the solution before we understand who our user is and what they want. So, this is like a step back to think about the bigger vision and what your product actually serves, what's the problem that it really solves. So, yeah, that's in a nutshell what design thinking is and how I was introduced to it.
And it's interesting because, as you mentioned, it seems the first impression was your experience of coping with that specific atmosphere. That was kind of, I mean, surprising moment for you, experiencing something totally different. And then you learn about, I mean, design thinking. And it's a good idea to mention because it seems for me, this is something you are trying to do at your current initiatives, your current company, which is ID Campus, and you are trying to help others to learn more about design thinking, focusing on human-centric approaches, of course, and um, still, my question is there. I mean, you could do the things by working somewhere else. Why you decided to start your company, your business? Because now you have to go with lots of other stuff as well, not just focusing on running workshops. I don't know, creating content, other things. Stuff.
Absolutely. So it didn't happen with a plan. I did not move to Netherlands and then decide that I'm going to start. It was a series of effects that actually led me here. And to be very honest, before 3 months before leaving my company, I decided that I would actually do this for myself. One is I did not want to get into the whole cycle of corporate, ladder running behind hikes and promotions and just being in this rat race of corporate work world. And I also realized that the people that I had worked with within my corporate, it was not just my team, but I also had worked with sales teams. I had worked with engineering, product teams. I also work with startups that are working with Cisco as partners. And I was working with a lot of them through these design thinking workshops and design sprints and so on. So I realized that my focus is not just with one team or one kind of area, but it is universally applicable. And the more I worked with these teams, the more I realized I wanted a breadth of, you know, people that I want to work with and not just, go deeper into one. And also, I think being a solopreneur or starting your own business, I have learned so much over the last few months that I don't think I have learned over the 10 years of my career. Because like you said, you need to take care of sales, you need to take care of marketing, you need to take care of um, also network with people, and build your community. And this is a new country for me. So I haven't stayed in Amsterdam or Netherlands before this. So moving from India, then to Poland, and then to Netherlands. So it's been quite a journey. And like I said, for me, it's the learning is what matters. And I have learned so much over the last few months that this ride has been very, very exciting. And I'm looking forward to more learning and more experiences through this, through this journey.
Moving to a new country, running your business,
Yeah.
and I mean, two different, totally different backgrounds, culture,
Ah.
let's say context. How you cope with that? How you and how you try to navigate and find your way in a way? How, for example, how you built your network here? Because you work for a long term back to your country, and in a way we can consider when you move to a new country, you have to build everything from the scratch.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So, one thing with respect to getting used to the country itself, my husband has been working here for almost 2 years. So it wasn't absolutely new in terms of like setting up, say buying a home or moving to a new home, understanding about the culture itself. So even when I was in Poland, I was visiting him quite often. I knew Netherlands as a country and how it worked. So that wasn't a challenge for me. So when I moved, there was already a house. I just had to come get the legal stuff ready for me, for myself here. So my husband was of great help here. But in terms of business and building a network here, that was a challenge for me in the beginning because I didn't know many people here. But I think Amsterdam, Netherlands is such a great country for someone who wants to start their own business. Right from the beginning of to register your company. The process is so simple and it's also frictionless that anyone who wants to build a business is welcomed here. I think that is one of the things that I love the most about this country. And the people, and one of the reasons why we moved or we decided to move to Netherlands is also the people, the culture, how welcoming they are. And they're always ready to help, no matter what. Um, Language is also a huge benefit that most of them speak English. They understand. They're ready to um, converse with you in the language that you are comfortable with. That is, for me, one of the biggest, I think, good things that happened to me here. So yeah, so frictionless, bureaucracy in terms of like starting your own business. That was a plus point, big plus point. And the second thing was that people are always ready to welcome. So I am part of so many communities right now just because I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, I am starting a new business around this. I see that you've already built a community for other business owners. I would love to be a part of the community." And they welcome me with open arms. And I have also done workshops at these communities for other business owners and startups. So, uh, I think although it's been a journey, at every step of the journey, I've had the privilege to meet other business owners, other people who are doing on the same path. So I don't feel so lonely, or I don't feel so new to this world of entrepreneurship as much now. It's been 7 months, so yeah.
7 months, good. And as you mentioned, moving from India to Poland and then now in the Netherlands, running your business. This journey, how did those cultural shifts and this journey, let's say, affect your personal and professional journey?
Yeah, yeah. I think I was in a comfort zone when I was at home. Like I had a job. I was living with my parents, and in India it's very common to live with your parents, right? So I did not have to take care of a lot of things. I used to get a good job. I used to get a good salary. So all my things were just spent on my travel, my lifestyle, and whatever. So I didn't have to take care of like the rent, for example, a home, or like taking care of what needs to be done for the home, like your groceries and um, just maintenance of the house. So I was a very privileged that way. And as soon as I moved to Poland, then I realized, okay, now I'm an adult and I need to take care of all of these things from rent to what I need for the house, the maintenance of the house, and all of these things. So, and also getting used to the culture there, and that was a huge personal growth in itself, right? Right from moving, um, from being in your comfort zone into an independent living. Now, here there was a huge shift and a huge growth because now I had to also think about how I want to lead my life, um, different from how it used to be in India with my parents. With it was, like I said, a very comfortable place. But here now, I wanted to sort of design my life how I wanted, how I envision my future. So just moving to Europe itself was a huge personal growth for me. And moving to Netherlands, although Poland to Netherlands was not much of a shift because I was already living my independent life. It was more about the differences in the country itself, like in terms of the language or people, and yeah, in general, country differences between these two places. And yeah, I think for me, the major difference is I was in a corporate job and now I'm in a solo entrepreneur, as a solo entrepreneur. So that professionally, I've grown here from these two countries. That's how I think I would put it.
We can consider you as a newcomer yet because, as you mentioned, for past few months you have been here, living here. I mean, in the Netherlands. But still, I think you can share kind of insight or one of the main lesson learned you have learned so far. And I mean, it's really great to share with us if there is anything.
I think the biggest lesson that I have learned here is that I did not know the importance of networking and being around other people and how big a role this plays because I was in a, like I said, a comfort zone even within my company. So I would, um, it didn't matter to me as much, the networking piece, because be it for a job change or a career change, there would be applications or there would be announcements that this team is hiring, and I would just go apply, talk to the manager, and it was relatively easier to say do a career change within a company. But moving outside of that, suddenly I feel like I'm in a sea. I've jumped into a sea from a pond, and now I have to navigate this world and I have to reach out to people. Nobody's going to come to me and, say, hey, I want to work with you. Now I need to reach out to people. I need to put myself out there. In fact, this when I was in my corporate company, I did not post even once on LinkedIn. Like it was not necessary for me at all. But now I do 3 posts on LinkedIn every week because I that's simply to show my expertise, to bring value of what I know, and just understanding the importance of visibility and networking. I think that's the greatest lesson that I've learned in the last 6 months or so.
Looking back at this personal and professional transformation, as you mentioned, from India to Europe, from let's say employee to entrepreneur, how has your sense of self evolved?
Definitely become way more independent, not just, personally, but also professionally. I have a lot more confidence, I think, to navigate situations. Like, um, there were times where, like, for example, as an expat, and maybe you will relate to this as well, you need to ensure that so many things, documents are in place. You want to make sure that as a as an expat, all your health insurance and these kind of things are in place. And I remember very well, it's very accessible in India to go to a doctor if you have any issues. So I used to not really take care of my health as much, I would say, because my mom was a doctor. I had very a lot of access to the healthcare there, so it was. I used to take it for granted, but now here I want to make sure that I'm eating healthy, I'm working out. I want to make sure that my health is in place so that I don't have to, if I have to make a visit to the doctor, it's not on an emergency or so. So, I think I've started to take care of myself much more, better now. And I have the confidence to navigate situations which are complex situations. Sometimes they had to be renewing my passport in a different country and then coming here and I had to renew my Western card and these kind of things. So yeah, I think I hadn't really thought about the legal structures and these kind of things, but now I know. I had to then book, for example, in now recently, I had to get myself a tax advisor or a tax consultant. All of these things I had never done before. So, doing all of this, I realized there's a lot of potential inside of me, which I hadn't tapped in. But if I really put in the work, I think it's not that bad. You can do it.
You and I both are those people who already moved to the Netherlands, and in a way, we decided to act as entrepreneurs
Yeah.
with different background, with different, let's say, we are coming from different countries here, and as you mentioned, there are lots of differences. Maybe we need to consider setting up, building everything from the scratch in terms of our knowledge or skills. I don't know, our network and the things like that. If someone else like us is listening to this episode, thinking of starting their own business in a new country, what would you tell them?
Yeah. So starting a new business is not easy. It's not child's play. So it's very important to first consider your financial status, like how financially how how much you can how risk averse you are. For example, when I moved, I had worked for 10 years in the corporate, almost 10 years. So I had enough savings that even if I am not able to earn in the first 1 or 2 years, I still can fall back on the savings that I have. And also what kind of responsibilities that you have at home. So if you have a family that who's dependent on you, and you have to take care of, say, parents or whatever it is. So make sure that you understand that financial aspect of it. um, the second thing is how resilient you are, because it's not going to be easy, especially in the first few months. uh, how Starting your own business is totally depends on how passionate you are about the work that you're doing, that even in spite of all the hardships that come at you, you are able to overcome that and still stay in the same path. Like there will be nights where you might even cry to sleep. You might say, why am I doing this? Why are things not working? And like, how should I navigate this? There will be a lot of like doubts, anxieties, and um, criticism that might come your way. So that you can overcome those things only if you're really passionate about what you're doing. And so you keep going at this full throttle. So I think financial stability is one, and second one is to pick something that you're really passionate about. So you are you go on in this in spite of all the difficulties that you face. Yeah, yeah,
Great. Um, One of the main reasons we decided to establish some initiatives within our main company, which is the Features Hub, such as Agora, such as Beno community, such as Flux Forward community, is building kind of support system, because we believe communities are not just for sharing the experience, the knowledge or insights or the things like that. Also, it's about how we can share our resources and maybe co-creating something in collaboration uh, by accessing to this kind of, let's say, support systems. Then we can do more together.
yeah.
My question is, what kind of support systems helped you the most during this transition, whether personal, professional, or community based? Even if you want to name them, feel free. Because I know you already engage with different communities, and maybe you want to share those examples for helping others who are listening, maybe to approach them. I mean, of course, I'm not talking about our community and our ecosystem, because the people who are listening this episode, they know about us. I'm talking about others.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. In communities, I have been part of equals.nl. So this is also very, of course, it's focused around women and women identified people. But apart from that, I also am part of Miro community. So that is also a great place where you meet other users of Miro. It could be consultants, it could be other Miro users, basically. So I have conducted workshops for them. I have conducted workshops for the community at Equals. And I'm also part of this expat community. It's called Girls Gone International. And I know a lot of my communities are around women, but somehow I was just drawn to those. Girls Gone International is a group on Facebook that I am part of, where other women who have moved into Netherlands from different countries, and I reached out to a few of them, and they've been very helpful in people who have just started their own business or have an idea and they're still dabbling with the thought of whether I should do this business or not. So we kind of got met each other, and then we created our own WhatsApp group. We now exchange a lot of our resources with each other. We help each other, give feedback on whatever we are working newly. So that's been very helpful. And I'm also part of international communities, so not just in Netherlands, but other facilitator communities like AJN Smart, for example, because I am a workshop facilitator and designer. So that is one thing. And then there is Voltage Control, which is another US based community for facilitators. So I'm also part of that. And yeah, I think these are some of the main communities that Future Skills Academy. So I did hear a few people were part of that community as well. So Arne is one of the co-founders of that community, and that community is also very, very welcoming, and I enjoy speaking to all of those folks there. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We already interviewed some of the members at the Futures Academy, as you mentioned. Maybe sooner or late, also, I'm talking with Arne as well. Thank you for sharing some real examples because it helps people, to just know, okay, if I want to do something, how I can approach it and what or where I can find some support systems for asking them for helping or joining them or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say moving to a new country, as I mentioned, running your business and the things like that could be really overwhelming and exhausting as well. What habits or rituals do you use to stay grounded when things feel uncertain or whatever?
Yeah. So for me, I have been meditating for a very long time. So that really helps me feel, grounded. And of course, even though I started meditating for very long, I think over the time you sort of stop that ritual because life happens and things like that. But then I realized at this crucial point where for me things are changing, I realized that this is more important than ever. So for me, journaling, meditation, and I'm also a sort of a spiritual person. So I believe in the concept of God on or a higher superpower, power that's greater than the human mind that we have. So I do believe in that. And sometimes when you are spinning out of control, when you don't know what the next step is going to look like, just offloading those worries, those obstacles to a power that is outside of yourself, that gives you a lot of relief. And for me, that's been very, very helpful. And coming from India, also that spirituality is sort of inculcated in your childhood itself, and I think that's where it really helps me.
Speaking of those small or main points you mentioned about, for example, the in different cultures, maybe we are experiencing different kind of approaches. Are there any assumptions you had about starting a business or living in Europe that turned out to be totally wrong or surprisingly true?
Okay. So assumptions that have been real true or false, right?
Yeah,
No. No, when I started my business, initially I was like, this is going to be easy. Like it's clients are going to come as I, start posting on LinkedIn, people will notice and they will come flocking to me. But it's not so easy. And given the current economy, the way things are moving so fast with AI, and cost cutting through for a lot of companies, so it's not so easy. So where you have to put in a lot of effort in the outreach, in the value that you provide, for you to be even able to speak about what you bring to the table. That is extremely important, because otherwise, especially in a service based role that I am in, it's hard to, when I don't have a product that this is what you're going to get at the end of it, it's hard to articulate the value of what you bring, of what you um, can do for them, for the teams. So to be able to visualize that in your head and to also be able to articulate it well, that's a skill that I think is often very underestimated. So that's one thing that I think that was an assumption that got cleared. And then I realized now I'm more aware of what needs to be done. Of course, I'm sure that there is a lot more learning that will come my way as days pass. But I think this is one of the biggest thing that I've learned. And also in Europe, July and August are the peak summer months where everyone's on a holiday. Not everyone wants to work. Everything's on a lull, right? For me, although I was in my corporate company, I knew about this, but as a business owner, this hits you even harder, because everything becomes quiet. Like there are no meetups, all meetups are cancelled, or they say, oh, we're starting everything in September. The workshops that you organize, people, there's a very low attendance rate because most of them, like I said, are on holidays, are mm, you know enjoying the sun out there, which is also, as a business owner, it can be difficult, but as someone who loves work life balance, I think this is a huge way to very I love this concept of being able to switch off and completely disengage from those continuous work that you used to do, and then get back refreshed to your work. Yeah, these are the two, I think, major assumptions that I came with, which are totally wrong.
exactly. However, this is not the first year I'm here, but exactly when you are experiencing this kind of environment, it's a little bit surprising, but at the same time, it's fine. I mean, consultative. I have some one, two more questions, but before that, I want to ask you maybe so far, I forgot to mention something, ask something, and talking about something that you think it's really important. Feel free, I mean, just to raise whatever you think it's really important to talk right now.
Yeah, I think one thing that I forgot to mention, as someone who's using AI quite a bit as a business owner, I think if I was in my regular job, I wouldn't be using these tools as much, because now there are so many responsibilities or so many things that you're juggling. It becomes, there's only a limited amount of time and energy you have as a person, as a human. So naturally, these tools can be really helpful when it comes to marketing, when it comes to sales, when it comes to thinking, or a thought partner, using AI tools as a thought partner. And I think I've gotten way more creative in using these tools and understanding, just come up with a lot of other use cases uh, on how to leverage these tools. I think every person who is planning or wants to start their own business needs to be able to, or you know how to use these tools to their best advantage. Yeah.
Or let's say it's not about it's a good idea or the things like that, or just use them. We need to be a master of in utilizing them in the future. Will be who knows.
Yeah.
So, thank you. That was a really important. I mean, point you mentioned. If you could go back and give one piece of advice to yourself at the very start of this journey, I mean, before starting your, I mean, official work at, let's say, Cisco, what it would be?
This is way back before Cisco.
Wait.
Ah, okay. I would say trust the process of learning and unlearning a lot of things. It's There are times where it gets really difficult and you feel like you're stuck in one stage, but that's that stage doesn't last forever. You will overcome it. There are always highs and lows in life. And when there is a high, there will be a low. When there is a low, you will experience the next high. I think it's important, especially when you are in the high. It doesn't matter because you're always you're going to be enjoying. But when you're in the low, it feels like time is just not passing. You're just waiting when this will end. But to be resilient in those times as well, so that you are ready for the next. And I think that's how life works. You do get into this phase, into this lull phase, so it's preparing you for the next high that's coming your way. And you need to go through this so you can succeed in the next phase that's coming your way. Yeah.
And looking ahead, what's one bold dream or intention you are holding for yourself, or I don't know, your work in the next chapter? Because now you are entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs should be visionary, I think.
Yeah.
Meaning, of
Definitely.
course, you are this thought about futures,
Yeah.
your visions.
Yeah. I think for me now is I want to be able to use AI tools to its maximum efficiency and potential and help others who are in this journey uh, to be able to use AI tools to fast track everything that they're doing. So, be it, defining problems for their customers, be it in their research that they're doing, be it in prototyping, be it in brainstorming, using AI as a brainstorming partner or a thought partner. Um, Maximizing the use of these AI tools, I think a lot of tech people are already there, but also a lot of non-tech people who are not using these AI tools in their day-to-day life uh, can get behind. And I think everyone needs to start, utilizing these and mastering these tools to go ahead in their careers. I think that's one thing that I am really envisioning for myself. And yeah, that's one thing that I'm really focusing on right now. And I'm also starting a YouTube channel where a lot of videos will be focused on how to use these AI tools in different phases of product life cycle. So be it in the first ideation phase or the prototype or beyond that as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Before finishing this episode, do you have any question or any kind of consideration or any point that maybe you want at the end emphasize on it? I mean,
Yeah. So I think a lot of people focus on the hard skills, be it like coding or like business management or these kind of things. But skills for life, I think these are very undervalued. For example, how to be resilient in hard times, how to ground yourself when things get harder, and also learning how to become independent and focusing on who you are, what is your purpose, and these kind of things are very undervalued. And I think learning starts from within. So who you are as a person, can you if you are able to learn who you are as a person, then learning the world becomes much more easier. So I think if there was one takeaway for the audience, this is what I would say.
Thank you so much, Varsha, for sharing your story and your insights and lessons from starting fresh in a new country to building a business with purpose, education. Your journey is truly inspiring, and I'm happy that we have you and also other uh, people in our community. And to our listeners, keep exploring, stay bold, and remember that you are not alone on these paths because our main focus area is building kind of support system, as I mentioned in different ways. And if they want to know more about whatever we are doing, they can easily approach us on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Also, we are sharing your LinkedIn in the description here in this episode and publishing it on different platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, and others. Feel free to share it with your friends and also share your feedback, your comments with us. Thank you, Arsha. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it and for sharing your insights, your experience. That was really, insightful for me. And let's see what's the next step.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben, for having me. I think you're building a great community.
All right.
I'm also looking forward to the next collaboration we have, and wishing you all the best.